love that music. It's very presidential. I don't know what it is. Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to State of Affairs, coming to you from the Agus Verus NJTV studio in beautiful Newark, New Jersey. We welcome our good friend, Dr. Eugene Cornacchia, who is president of St. Peter's University, based in beautiful
Jersey City.
Your mayor keeps saying that they're going to be the biggest, most populated city in the state one day. We'll have that discussion another day. Gene, talk to us about a couple things. Affordability, access to higher education, huge issues today, right?
Yeah, very big. Well, especially after the Great Recession, as families have struggled economically, their resource base is much diminished, so affording a good quality higher degree has become a real challenge for them. And so that's why state aid programs such as the TAG program are
tuition aid grant.
Tuition aid
Explain why
grant.
that's so important.
Well, it's important because what it does is the state provides, in New Jersey, we're fortunate. For all our complaints about the dangers of eliminating it or reducing it, New Jersey is generous in terms of the aid it provides college students with this grant. So, for example, in the independent sector, private sector, the highest grant is $12,400 a year. So if you think about how that helps close that gap for private higher education.
Is it at risk? Is tuition aid grant at risk?
It's always at risk. I think that's the challenge. You know, the state's budget is always under stress. The grant has not risen sufficiently to cover the increasing costs.
Is that a de facto decrease?
It is.
I know people are happy that it just stayed the same.
Right.
But if inflation is there, costs go up.
Right.
Keeping it the same.
Right. So we haven't actually experienced direct cuts. So it's the buying power that's eroded as a result of inflation. But there are always some threats. You know, when the budget is under stress, there's this huge pension problem. There are all these threats for the budget. We always worry that there's going to be something that's going to, you know, undermine the TAG program.
When I visited your university at St. Peter's in Jersey City, what I was struck by, Gene, is the diversity of your student population. Describe it.
Sure. We're almost 40% Latino population now. We're a Hispanic serving institution because we exceed 25%. We're about a quarter African American. And then we've got a mixture of Asians of various kinds and your traditional middle class.
How does it impact the campus life, A? B, what goes on in the classroom?
It enriches it dramatically. It's incredible what goes on because students learn from each other. They experience each other's cultures, family environments. It's wonderful to see students inviting other students home to you know, have a meal, to meet their family, and to, you know, get outside their comfort zone. It's really incredible.
The other thing I said I wanted to talk to Gene about, because Gene has a background in political science. He's joined us many times in the past to talk about the state of politics in our country.
Yeah.
Is the level of political discourse in our nation as, quote unquote, toxic as it appears to be?
Oh, it certainly is.
How do you deal with that on campus?
It's tough. It really is tough. I mean, the vast majority of our students, of course, we would characterize as progressive, you know, vast majority. But this election really challenged
2016.
Yeah, it challenged everyone because there were some good things that came out of it. For example, after many years, we had a young Republican group form on campus, which I think is very healthy.
That's good for diversity.
It is very good for diversity. But on the other hand, because everyone has dug their heels in and we have these lines dividing people, there isn't real discourse across the lines as there ought to be.
Define real discourse. Because
well,
you said
you know, give and take. You know, here's my position. This is why I believe in it.
You're wrong. I'm right.
Yeah, that's what it gets down to. You're wrong. I'm right.
What's wrong with that, Gene?
Well, you don't move anything forward. Everything just, you know, I mean, if we look at it, you could probably say we really have gridlock. I mean, gridlock.
You make it sound...
Look what's going on. I'm sorry. Look what's going on with the health care bill.
As we speak, in the summer of 2017, it appears that while the House has passed a version of repeal and replace of the Affordable Care Act, the Senate right now is meeting in private.
In private, in secrecy.
Why does that matter?
Because democracy is about open discussion, discourse. It's about consensus building. How do you build consensus if you're in secret?
You're making it sound like what's going on in Washington reflects what's going on in the rest of the country or vice versa. It's not that much. It's not like what's going on in Washington. It's like, you know what, we're going to elevate the, by the way, excuse my voice. We're going to elevate the dialogue. Right. It's going to be more civil. We're going to listen to each other. That doesn't mean they agree.
Right.
But the tone is just as bad in
It's
the Capitol.
everywhere. It's everywhere in this country nowadays. It's the sad part.
And it's
really.
getting violent, too.
It's getting violent. That's the worrisome part. Do we want to end up being like some countries around the world where the solution to political differences is violence and guns and revolution? No.
What's the role of higher ed institutions in all this, Gene?
Well, we can lead people forward if we can educate them on the values of civil democracy, the key values, discussion, the give and take, the value of law, the rule of law, the Constitution, all those important things that have kept us really a vibrant, safe society, and one that I think really welcomes people from all around the world.
Do you have, it's interesting, because Jersey City has one of the larger Muslim populations. Yeah. You happen to be a Jesuit institution. Has the issue, it's not any one issue, but have the issues around what is happening in the Muslim community directed at them, the violence, and also the anti-Muslim attitudes, particularly regarding the ban that's been proposed by the president? Does it play out at all on your campus?
No, it doesn't really play out on our campus. We have a fair number of Muslim students, of course. I think what we've seen is that our other students have supported our Muslim students. Supported.
Why do you think?
It's the nature of our, just the nature of our community. As a Jesuit institution, we value, we have a welcoming approach to life and to people.
People call that liberal. You call it. And people say, oh, that's a liberal attitude. You don't see it that way.
No, we don't see it that way.
How do you see it?
We see it as part of being a Christian community. That's what, sometimes when I hear people with really closed-minded views and hostile views towards other people, and I see them go to church.
What would Jesus do?
That's what I say all the time.
As a Catholic, it's the question that I would ask.
Steve, I say it all the time. I say it all the time.
I'm not sure, but never mind. We'll have a different conversation about that.
And Jesus welcomed the lepers. He wasn't afraid of lepers.
He was more inclusive, wasn't he?
He was very inclusive. So, as a Catholic institution,
there's something here, though.
There is something.
It's
here.
not about Catholics.
It's not about Catholics.
What is it about?
It's about a belief in the world that everyone has value as a human being and has something to contribute to society's betterment. That's what it boils down to.
And it's not, I'm right, and if you're not with me, you're wrong, and
me.
I've got to do something to minimize you.
Exactly.
Gene Cornacchia is more than, Dr. Gene Cornacchia is more than just the president of St. Peter's University in beautiful Jersey City. By the way, we're in Newark. It is still the largest, most populated.
For now.
You and Philip are on the same track here, the mayor of Jersey City. But Gene, also I want to thank for talking about the state of political discourse in our country and the dangers of being so polarized and toxic. Thank you, Gene, my friend.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Stay right there. State of Affairs. We'll be right back.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Agnes Veris NJTV studio at 2 Gateway. Funding has been provided by PSE&G, Holy Name Medical Center in Teaneck, New Jersey, the New Jersey Education Association, the New Jersey Association of Health Underwriters, International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, the Northeast Regional Council of Carpenters, and by Verizon. Promotional support provided by NJ Biz, All Business, All New Jersey, and by Meadowlands Regional Chamber, building essential connections that drive business growth.